evening, I'm in quarantine with Reaper, who is a 4-piece progressive thrash metal outfit from Liverpool. How are you guys?
All good here.
Fantastic.
It's I should say it's the day. Wait, what? You know what? I've lost track of what day of the week it is. Is it?
It's Tuesday.
Yes,
Yeah,
I thought
Tuesday. There we go.
Mine was falling week. I think it was Wednesday. So it's the eve before Liverpool goes into the highest tier of this lockdown. How was that? Oh my god! I thought I was going to join you here in Manchester. I really, really did. I was saying, "Oh, my gym's going to shut again. I can't bear it." And then it didn't. But unfortunately for you guys, I shouldn't laugh at all. But
well, at least we finished everything before lockdown hit by like 3 days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Bit tight.
But lucky you did. So I should introduce you all. So we've got Daniel. So put your hands up when I call your name. Yeah, like I said, I'm a teacher on the first day of school. So Daniel. Then we've got Anthony. Brilliant. We've got Elliot.
Hi.
Big hair.
And last of all, we've got Scouse Dave, who is also called Anthony. But just so everyone knows, there's 2 Anthonys in this band, and this is how we're differentiating between them. And I didn't call you Scouse Dave. You are known as Scouse Dave. So that's great. We've done all the introductions. Now you've had several lineup changes over the years. Since you started anyway, how did you all meet and get together as a band?
So basically, me and Anthony, I've known each other since we were 4 years old. So we're like primary school friends, like as far back as it goes. Me and Ant, what'd you say?
It's a cute story.
Oh, it's lovely.
Surprised I haven't killed him yet.
Yeah. So me and Dalton met each other in primary school. We eventually started getting into rock and metal music. We decided to start playing some guitar stuff in our attic. We got semi-decent and then found some other folks. As the lineups kind of progressed to this point, we actually met Elliot through another band that he used to be in a covers band at the Zanzibar, which is now since sadly closed down.
Oh, yeah.
And we then brought him into the fold. And then the latest addition has been Scouse Dave, who I knew from college. I met him in a Liverpool Community College where me and him were both doing a degree there. So we've been playing together for a while, but we've finally just pieced everyone together, and that's kind of how everyone got their stuff.
So how long have you been playing for as the current lineup?
2 years.
With me, and I think it's just under 2 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it's longer than I thought it was. Yeah.
In current circumstances, the term playing is pretty.
Yeah.
Like I say, we've been together for about 2 years. We've been playing for like a year and a quarter. So.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just describe your music to people that don't know. With the most collected and driven members yet, Reaper aimed to create nothing short of the most relentless, intense, and fierce catalogue metal has seen in years. So that's quite a statement.
I mean, well, I'd say that we try our best.
I'd love to try.
I don't know who wrote that.
I was going to say, I don't know who wrote that.
Is that a quote? Or was I just like, oh no, we're gonna do it today, boys?
This might have been going on a mad one
then. Yeah. So I hear that you performed at Bloodstock in 2017. Is that right? What was that like?
Yes and no. It was me and Anthony. It was a different lineup at the time.
I was going to say, not all of you would have been in the band at that point.
Yeah, sadly not.
So if there was some in the band, what was that experience like for you?
It was one of the best days of my life, to be fair.
Oh, wow.
To be playing in front of so many people and like just playing like the music that we want and seeing the crowd go crazy for it. It was one of the best. We were like, didn't we get top 3 best bands for was it New Blood band?
Yeah. Moshville Times basically said we were one of the top 3 bands that they saw on that stage all weekend, which was huge.
Did they just see 3 bands that weekend?
What? Sorry.
I said, did they just see 3 bands that weekend?
Yeah, they just see.
Oh yeah, no, they did because we sucked. We had
a lot of technical issues. To be fair, there was a few technical issues, but I feel like we played it off really well because we managed to get the crowd bouncing. And even all the technicians were bouncing to it. They were throwing like beach, like those big beach ball things and like going crazy. It's funny just seeing them like bop to it, and I feel like we just got that energy compared to the music that we were playing with. A lot of people were playing like very slow kind of metal. I can't describe what it was, but like when we came on, it's just like blitzing, like Usain Bolt.
It was a really bizarre experience, and we started to play the first song, and I was a little bit stiff and things, but then Anthony came in with a solo, and when we all kind of kicked off, it was the most bizarre thing. We started with about a third to just under half of the tent, and we were like, oh, this is a decent crowd. And then, like, the outer skirt of people that were kind of not sure on what to do by the main stage, and all the people at the back of the bar just flooded. Like, it was like a storm. It was the most bizarre thing. It was everything we'd wanted to do when we got put on. And hopefully we get the opportunity to do that again with the current lineup, because I'd say we've upped our game threefold. It's been enormous.
Did you have any festivals planned for this year?
Yes.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
We did.
Which ones did you have?
We were hoping to do Helifest in the middle of summer, like over in the Isle of Wight. So it's because that's sad because it got moved to next year, but fortunately fortunately it has been moved to next year, but it was going to be so funny because we got to say to people, oh guys, look, it's our first overseas gig, because it's like literally a ferry over. That's kind of our humor is just stuff that is like just straight up not funny. So that's very much in our category of humor. I'm
going to talk about your sophomore album. So it's called Stranger Than Fiction. It's been released the 16th of October, so that's this Friday. Very exciting. It's been described as a 75-minute exhibition of every avenue the band can creatively explore. So tell us a little bit about this album.
So when that got put forward, because the funny thing about this, and I think this may have been lost in translation over the course of us trying to call this an EP, because the idea was that we were supposed to surprise fans with an EP in between. So that 75-minute album that's supposed to be en route is actually now going to be album 3. This is effectively the makings of what was initially supposed to be an EP and then developed into 2 EPs that got merged into a full disc. And it was a lot. Confusing. Yeah, it was very strange because over the course of lockdown, we had to just find something to do because we were just so relentlessly we were just like, what the hell are we supposed to do with ourselves? And then we decided, well, people really like the single that we released, Sigil, in April 1st. And we were supposed to, just kind of leave that at that and then release the Dio cover we did in May. And then people more and more started getting into that song. So we were like, well, let's make an EP of it. And then funny thing about that is Longworth had to come here because of things that were going on in his flat. So he had to leave for health reasons. So I had to bring him here. And in those 3 to 4 days, we started piecing together songs and realized we had enough for an album. And thus began a 4-month onslaught to get this thing done. Yeah. It has been some of the most trying work I think we've ever done as a band, but it's creatively got so many different avenues. So
you just released another single from it, Jericho. That was around the 25th of September.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, you've got a lot going on with it. When did writing begin for this work?
There was a lot of different points for different songs, really, because I remember obviously we'd written Sigil back in October last year,
about a year ago,
roughly
recorded it and then released it on April 1st, and then we had a couple of weeks later we had you come up to us, Dan, with Titan, and that was the second track, and we were like, okay, the CP is coming together quite nicely. I'd already written some stuff at home, which ended up then being on the album anyway, but I was writing stuff for months and months on end anyway. So most of the stuff that I was writing was just old riffs, and I was taking them to Dan essentially and going, make those sound good. and it turns out it worked. But then Elle, you came up to us with a couple riff ideas and all that as well, and obviously you did, so I'll let you carry on from there with the stuff that you brought to the table. It
was an interesting one in a sense for the way it came together and the way it was written, in that it was very much little bubbles, as had to be during quarantine. I got an old multi-effects working to record into the computers to get riff ideas down, and we were just sending files back and forward over Google Drives and stuff like that, and piecing bits and pieces together, and just sharing demos. And when lockdown rules were relaxed, Dan was driving rounds with his little interface and plugging into his laptop, and remember he came to mind a few times when it was permitted, and we just worked on bass lines for the tunes I hadn't had any input in at the time. So it was an interesting little. Well, the four of us basically haven't been in a room since our last gig in March together. We haven't been in the same room together since March. So piecing this whole thing together has been quite weird and different to how we usually work, but in a good way, really. It's just showed us new avenues to how to write and demo and record songs.
Yeah.
Could you say it was stranger than fiction?
It was Stranger Than Fiction.
Insert laugh track.
No, please.
This is why all three of them hate me with a deep, burning passion, and why it's a mystery why Anthony hasn't killed me yet.
I don't hate it, Dan. I just
Because of social distancing, I'm guessing.
What's you say? Sorry, Anne.
Because of social distancing, probably.
Yeah, that's actually
the only reason.
Yeah.
That's the
Not
only
get
reason.
close enough. I was going to stop you before we move on to discussing the theme of the new album. I want to know, Scouse Dave, what have you been eating during this interview?
I'm sat here eating potato waffles.
I want to see these waffles. I hate people eating when I'm not eating.
I got one left.
Oh,
I got one left.
well, thank you. When I was a kid, I used to wish you could get the yummy things out of the TV and just sort of eat them. And
Like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
yes,
vision,
that kind of, exactly. Yeah, it must be from watching that.
Mine was always Man versus Food. Anyone ever watched that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've watched it.
You'd see the guy doing all the challenges, and I was like, God, I'd love to do that. Like, I'd be so sick.
Well, I don't know if you would enjoy it. I don't think you would because.
I mean, well, that's it. Like you're pretty much
challenges.
guaranteed diabetes, aren't you, in a later life? But
Yeah, but I'm pleased you showed me what you're eating. I feel like I can relax now. Now I know. I thought maybe it was like chocolate or something. So
no,
you would be in trouble then. Right. Okay. We're moving on. So the theme. What is there a theme of your album? Are the songs written about specific things that tie them together?
Yeah, for sure. There's been a lot of things kind of piecing together on this, and it's weird. It never really came together with any intention. A lot of these songs have very much got their own kind of identity, but the progression of the disc, in effect, is being thrown into a world of chaos and slowly but surely watching it grow from this grotesque, animalistic environment and having... I keep saying a protagonist because I can't really know how else to say it, but like a pseudo kind of character or a first-person perspective, whoever that takes control of. As they kind of come towards the end of the album, they start to really accept their surroundings. A lot of it, it's like, so for example, a good way for me to do it is kind of lyrically, like step by step. So Sigil was a song kind of about how people easily fly for either side of a political opinion or whatever kind of tribe they want to vibe with. So if, for example, like football teams and religions and things like that, and people are willing to fight on either side and whatever sides they take, just for the sake of being right, so that whatever power structure they're worshipping notices them. And it's about acknowledging that those people aren't really bothered about them. So being stuck in the middle of that and having to watch this kind of war rage between opposing sides, that's kind of like the first real nasty, crazy moment. And the initial track, the intro track, Event Horizon, kind of sets the picture for that and sets the tone. And then when it comes to the end, as it tracks into tracks like, say, Jericho, that people have heard now, a song about in the midst of a really horrific and terrifying instance being the Black Lives Matter movement in America, doing what they did because of what they did. But there was a beauty in how people unified. Just to clarify, obviously, the Black Lives Matter movement was what we were saying, was fantastic. It was an incredible movement, but the thing that sparked that was so terrifying, the fact that still goes on. And then that song, even though it's towards the end of the album where it's supposed to become harmonious, that's kind of despite the what's the word I'm looking for?
You can do it.
I can do it, I believe. Despite the fear and the pain that was caused from that, there was a real beauty in people coming together for that. So that, as an example, that kind of resonates as it comes through the album. So lyrically, it follows a theme of going from a point of real horror to beginning to accept that life's just insane. Life's just crazy, and given circumstances and how we've had to piece this together.
Yes, now more than ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And do you see it as a progression from your first album, Birth of Chaos?
Yes, absolutely.
I wasn't even in the band like when Birth of Chaos was released, and obviously, like I've kind of got a place to say because I'm in the band now. But at the same time, like it's that's not my work previously. But I could sit there and say that I feel like deeply that it is a progression in the music, the way the band actually sounds, like not just the music that we play, like everything's down to a T with us. And yeah, it's just nuts how we've managed to do it.
So where can people get hold of your new album?
So people can get their album on our site, purchasemerches.com. I know it's the worst name on the planet, and we don't care. It's hilarious.
What is it? Purchase Merches.
Purchasemerches.com.
I quite like it.
Yeah. We thought we had to come up. Yeah, we thought we had to come up with like a catchy name, and we thought it was like it's got to be funny because our brand is kind of like off internet humor. Yeah. So you can pre-order it on Purchase Merches. That can make it. You're still able to pre-order it up until Friday. On Friday, the pre-orders will be taken down. Whatever's left will be sold after the fact. On Friday, it's going to hit Spotify. There'll be pre-save links, so you'll instantly save it. That would be awesome help for us because we get to build up saves, and that gets us into playlists. So if you know any bands that are doing that as well, go and help them out. So there's a bunch of pre-saves going about for that. So we go and do that, and then obviously pre-orders are pretty dwindling too because we've got some people who are really, really interested in this. So that's where you can get it.
At least you're still continuing. You've been keeping it going. You've been writing. You've been releasing. Some bands, they've not taken that opportunity, and it's a shame because you could look at it one or two ways. Either everything comes to a standstill and you just put your life on hold, or you can use this time creatively, which is exactly what you've done.
Yeah.
All credit to you, and I'm sure that will pay off. So hopefully going into next year, not only have you got your album, you said you've got another one in the making.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, fully written.
Yeah, and all being well, you'll have some tours or some gigs or festivals or something to play.
Yeah, we have things.
Oh yeah.
At this point, a band practice would be beautiful. But
yeah.
Hopefully
To be
you get back
honest,
to gigs sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Sure. It's it's weird. It's interesting that you said that, Anne, because I was actually on the phone with Scouse Dave just last night, and I talk about this quite readily as like a lot of the time with Anthony as well, in the fact that it's almost creepy how much things just keep circling for us personally back to this project consistently time and time again. Like, this has been what me and Anthony have been trying to build since we were like 12, 13, playing tunes in my mum and dad's attic. And the more it came together, we've spent so many years learning how not to do things from being, dumb kids and so on. And now that we've come together into this point, lockdowns come out. And if, despite how horrific this has been for some people, for us, and I'm a firm believer in trying to make the best of a given situation, if it wasn't for the current climate, this album that we've just made wouldn't exist. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have realized. It's really put a lot of things into perspective, I guess is the way I want to say. And it's made us all realize that this is something that we are all extraordinarily passionate about, and we really can't afford to lose. I think we do all seriously care about this in a great way. And, I'll be the first guy to get the lighters out, soar them in the air, and just be saying, that these are probably the best musicians that I've worked with. Ant's going to call me and he's going to be like, mate, you're such a flannel.
No, it's lovely. It's really heartwarming to hear. And, I'm hoping that you're not going to be in the highest tier of lockdown for too long, and that all of us will eventually get back to being able to enjoy gigs again and being together and enjoying the music. So, I wish you all the best until then. I really love your work ethic, even your work ethic. It's been great speaking to you. I love the passion you've got for your music, and I really look forward to seeing you live one day, all being well.
Yeah, and you, man.
Much.
Take care, guys. All the best.
Take care.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
This is rock and roll, burning out to my soul. This is rock and roll, I love, I need it. Rock and roll.